Yeah, it's been 4 minutes and I don't know, there's a faint, I think I'm pregnant.
Hello friends, welcome back and thanks so much for watching. If you missed the announcement on my Instagram, we are expecting another baby. That is why I have not been able to film try-on hauls here. I am so excited to get back to them. That's actually why we announced when we did. I have started showing so early and I'm just like, I want to get back and do my job.
Oh my God! Sam?
Oh, even on the fancy one? Mama being silly.
So we are expecting baby number 2 due August 13th, 2023, and we feel so blessed, so excited. A complete surprise that I will get into. I now don't have to hide the fact that I've been so out of breath from you guys. But we're so grateful, we're so excited, we're so blessed, and yeah, I'm gonna get into all the details about it today.
Oh my God! Oh my God, 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 oh my God.
Now, if you don't follow me on Instagram or you don't have an Instagram, well, if you don't have an Instagram, this won't do you any good, but if you don't follow me, go click the link in the description bar that says gender reveal, because I already announced the baby's gender on my Instagram and I'm going to be talking about it in this video. So go watch that and then come back.
And for you?
Oh, I'm so nervous. I'm so early, Sam. This is like crazy.
You can get your little brother. Mom gonna start arguing about girl names because we're gonna get a boy.
We like accidentally made this one.
Okay, we're having another little boy. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so all over the place because I just can't wait.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Mama being silly. Look at it.
Oh my God!
So we are having another little boy. I'm so happy. I genuinely have always felt like I was meant to be a boy mom. I don't know why. Like, the idea of a girl seemed really exciting to me, but after we had Ezra, I think we both like really wanted a boy so bad that after we had Ezra, I was like, you know, we can't lose. Either we get a girl and we experience something different, or we get a boy and we already know what that's like. So we are just so excited to have a little baby boy on the way, and this is it for me. I'm done having children after this. So many people that like don't know me and Sam personally have been like, oh, you'll change your mind. That's what happened to us. And my response is always, you don't know us well enough, if that is a statement that you have made, because the people who know us know that we are done, know that since Sam and I mean, honestly have, like when we were dating, we've always said 2 kids. We are both one of 4, and while we love having a lot of siblings, I looked around many times throughout my childhood and I was like, this is a lot. And so I've just always said 2 is perfect. We're building a home that has 2 kids' bedrooms. So it's just for us, this is it. We won't change our minds. If you think we will, you definitely don't know us well enough. I am happy to be closing the baby making chapter of my life August of this year, hopefully August 13th. So we're so excited. So I wanted to share how we found out first, and I have the pregnancy tests around here somewhere. There's a lot of them. Let me just count. 9 like expensive ones and a whole bunch of cheapies. And the reason I'm actually gonna be sharing these pregnancy tests with you guys is I have a little bit of a grievance with some of these one company, and I just don't want you guys to make the same mistake I did. So I didn't believe I was pregnant because this baby was a total freaking surprise. So how we found out I was pregnant was essentially I got my period back 9 weeks postpartum. I talked about that on my vlog channel, and I was really shocked because I had no problems breastfeeding, before I got my period, and you do hear sometimes that that may affect, like you may get your period back if you're not exclusively breastfeeding, if you're not breastfeeding well. At least that's what everything indicated in like the books and stuff. And as soon as I got my period back, I mean, I continued to breastfeed totally fine. It was just like my body kind of reset, but I did not ovulate until I was 5 months postpartum when Ezra started to eat solids. He started to really show interest in food, and my breast milk supply then did take a little bit of a hit, and I started to ovulate. Now, it was only on cycle day like 25 for a couple months, but I would ovulate and then get my period just a couple days later. So if you know anything about like the menstrual cycle, there's a whole lot that goes into having a regular cycle, and my cycle length was regular. It was 28 days, but usually I would ovulate on cycle day 25, and then like 3 or 4 days later would get my period. So you can't sustain a pregnancy that way. Your body can't make enough progesterone to create a pregnancy. So although I was ovulating, I knew that there was no chance that I was going to get pregnant. I still was taking ovulation tests twice a day, every day, because up to that point, we weren't ready to try for a baby yet. So we get to 6.5 months postpartum. I truly believe Ezra self-weaned. Some people say that, you know, it's impossible for a 6-month-old to self-wean. He just had no interest in breastfeeding. For him, he was like, I want to be moving. I don't want to focus on breastfeeding. He was really loving food, and his weight started to drop a little bit. My breast milk supply took a hit, and I was like, you know what? I've had such a beautiful breastfeeding experience. I don't want to remember this as a frustrating time. And I hit my goal. My goal was 6 months, so I said, let's just be done with this. And we talked to the pediatrician. She was like, just be done. She was like, you don't need to be doing something that's going to stress you both out. She was like, just be done. Find a good formula you like. And she was actually the one that recommended it take a while to wean, because you can get like mastitis, clogged ducts. It can be really painful for people's breast milk supply to dry up. So what I did was I dropped 1 feed every 3 days if Ezra was doing okay. And we just started with the one that he didn't do like well with, which actually was the nighttime feed. He did the worst with that. And then we just kind of went backwards. And so it took about 3.5 weeks to fully wean. November 2nd, I remember this day exactly, was the last day that I fed Ezra. At that point, my breast milk supply was basically nothing. So I tried. He again was just like, I'm not interested in this. There's nothing in there. So we got him a bottle, and we were just so happy that, you know, that was over with. And ovulated on November 2nd. 4 days later, got my period, November 6th. So at this point, my body's done. I am starting to like shrink up. Milk is dry. I dropped the last little bit of pregnancy weight because I hear your body can hold on to that. So I was like, all right, like we're good, you know, I'm done breastfeeding. I can really work on getting my fitness back. Joke's on me, literally gonna be super pregnant this summer. But I was like, you know, I can just go back to normal now. And I celebrated being done with breastfeeding. I was so excited. I went and got Botox. I went and drank with my friends one night while my parents babysat. And we were good. Sam and I actually sat down once I was done breastfeeding, and we had always wanted our babies to be relatively close in age. It did take us 5 months of trying to make Ezra, and that's not a long time, but I did have a very regular cycle when we were trying to get pregnant with him. So since my cycle was irregular, we said, you know, let's start trying in January. It'll probably take us maybe 6 or 7 months this time, because my cycle's not yet regular. Let's start trying in January. Maybe if we're lucky, you know, we'll get pregnant after 3 or 4 months. So that was the plan. I had stopped tracking my cycle at all. I wasn't really thinking anything of it. At this point, I'm done breastfeeding, just kind of let my body reset, and ended up doing the thing you gotta do to make a baby. And then later that day, I was like, wow, I have got a lot of cramps in my side. Now, I got ovulation cramps whenever I would ovulate when we were trying for Ezra. So I was like, I know this pain. Let me just take an ovulation test, because we did just do something that you gotta do to make babies. So let me take one. And it was a harsh positive. So I looked at my like little fertility app, and I found out I was on cycle day 14. And I was shocked, because I had been ovulating super late in my cycle. Ovulated on cycle day 14, and I thought maybe, you know, maybe I'll get 6 days past ovulation before I get my period. I don't think that, you know, my body reset that quickly. So we reached 10 days past ovulation, and I started to get some mild cramps. I was sitting down, and I think that's the only reason I felt them, is because I was actually like sitting and was holding very still. Had I been moving, I probably wouldn't have felt them. That's how mild they were. And I was like, oh, okay, period starting, like, cool. It's been 10, 11 days. I think it was 10 days at that point. Past my cycle, that means I've got a normal cycle. Like, cool, we're good to go in January to try for a baby. Nope, no period came. So I wake up the next morning and we're all sick. We all wake up sick as dogs, like Sam, me, and Ezra. We were so afraid he had RSV. So immediately when I noticed I didn't get my period, I took a pregnancy test, and when it came back negative after 5 minutes, I just tossed it in the trash in the kitchen, which I usually throw away in the bathroom, but I tossed it in the kitchen and I was just like, I can't think about this right now. I'm really afraid my baby's gonna have RSV. I'm going back and forth with the doctor at this point because his doctor isn't in. They're trying to get us an appointment because he really can't breathe well. And so out of sight, out of mind, I'm thinking my period's gonna start later this day. Still nothing. So I go back to go throw something away and I look in the trash and I see a positive pregnancy test. Now the line was very faint, but it was very positive to the point that like you didn't have to like turn it, squint. It was faint, but it was there. So I see this test, I pick it up out of the trash, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't seeing things, so I called Sam and I'm like, Sam, am I seeing things? Am I seeing things, or is this actually happening? And he said, no, that looks positive to me. And I said, well, here's the problem. It's been 3 hours since I took this test, so it is 100% invalid. And these were the cheapy little Pregmate strips. Like, these things are definitely, they tell you, like, if you look at the test after 5 minutes, it is invalid. You can get indent lines, you can get evap lines, you can get all kinds of things. So I immediately jump into, holy crap, like, this is a false positive, and now I'm sitting here thinking I'm pregnant. So it's on a cell phone video, so it's not the best quality. I go back and forth about whether or not I should share this because it was just absolute chaos. But basically what I did was I went and I actually like peed into a little cup so that I could save the pee. And I was like, I'm just gonna keep this because I'm going to take as many tests as it takes until I get a definite yes or no. And I took another strip Pregmate test, and after about 3 to 5 minutes, it was still showing negative. That mixed with knowing that I had ovulation cramps in the afternoon the day before, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I think I'm pregnant, but I just don't think there's enough HCG in my system to really show a strong positive. So I go and I end up finding one Clear Blue digital test. It was expired. I think the expiration date on it was like early 2022 from when we were trying for Ezra, and I found it. I was like, you know what? If this says positive, I'm for sure pregnant. If this says negative, we'll just take a test in a couple days if my period still has not arrived. And that's actually the clip that you see is my reaction, oh my God, is I walked up and the like Clear Blue digital test said pregnant. And I just genuinely didn't believe it because there was just, it was such a faint line on that first test. And sure enough, after like 45 minutes, the second test definitely was starting to show positive, but again, that's still invalid. So I didn't know at the time both Clear Blue Digital and Pregmate need an HCG of 25 to show positive, while First Response needs an HCG of 5. So later that day, I went to the pregnancy store. I went to the drugstore and bought every single pregnancy test that they had that was like a Clear Blue or a First Response. And I started to take tests throughout the next few days to see if I got line progression. I did, and so we knew this baby was sticking around, and that's kind of when it, you know, hit us that like actually this baby is here. This is happening. We're not dreaming. It was just such a shock because we were like, we're gonna try in January, and I ended up ovulating technically earlier than I had been, but on time, and we accidentally made a little baby. So I have talked a lot. I'm gonna just go ahead and share my quick little grievance with Pregmate. Now, I did buy a few more of the Pregmate strip tests, the little cheapy ones that I used and loved when I was pregnant with Ezra. I felt like they were really thorough, fairly, like I saw line progression with them, which made me feel really good. The problem was, so the store only had so many tests, and I have never experienced loss of any kind, which we feel, you know, our hearts go out to people who have. But that is something that I do know is a reality. And so I looked up, and basically what I saw was, for the most part, you can get a chemical pregnancy until 5 weeks, which is basically you get a positive pregnancy test and then a few days later you get your period. So there was only enough, there was 5 of these like clear blue, just like the ones with the double lines. And then I had 3 of the first response. So these did not get me to 5 weeks pregnant. These were showing great line progression, but I didn't want to go out and buy a whole other box. So I was like, you know what? I'm not quite at 5 weeks pregnant. Let me take a few more Pregmate strip tests until I reach 5 weeks. I want to say it was only like 4 days or something. So I go and I take the Pregmate strip, and at this point I'm roughly 4 weeks and probably like 4 days, 4 or 5 days. And that test did not show positive. It showed the faintest negative, similar to what I experienced when I was 3 weeks and 4 days. And so I panicked. I was like, oh my gosh, like something is wrong. And Sam was like, that just doesn't make sense. You've been having all of this like great line progression. Why now is this test not showing at all? And so I looked at it, and this is my new batch of the Pregmate strip tests. And so I ended up going, apparently I kept like all of my unused pregnancy test we were trying for Ezra, and I found an old batch number from, it was actually expired from when I got pregnant with Ezra. Immediately that test showed like it was a dye stealer. Like it showed like left line super dark compared to the right line, and it just immediately made me so angry, because I was like, listen, I get these are the cheap tests, but you have one job to like measure HCG and say yes or no. And you would assume that if the HCG is that much higher, that it would take like 45 minutes to show a positive test. So the new Pregmate strips, I would not recommend. Basically, if it was up to me again, I would just buy the more expensive test and just have extra past 5 weeks. I would, as soon as I got a positive, I would be done with Pregmate, because they're just way too faint, not consistent. The old tests were way more consistent than the new one. That really stressed me out. And obviously I know that the baby is completely healthy now. So long story not short, yeah, completely surprised by this pregnancy, but baby boy is totally healthy in there. So this pregnancy, how I'm feeling, nausea-wise, it has been drastically different from my pregnancy with Ezra. So with Ezra, I felt everything very extreme, like, but for a short amount of time. So I felt horrible food aversions for 2 weeks straight, and then they were gone, and I, you know, most of the time eat what I wanted. And then I felt like about 2 weeks of nausea that was not terrible, especially compared to some people. I've never thrown up during a pregnancy, but it was just 2 weeks of nausea, and then it was over with. And then I had 3 weeks of just horrible exhaustion. Like I could barely keep my eyes open, and then it was over with. And with this baby, I have felt every single one of those things, but I felt them the whole time. So right at about 6 weeks was when my pregnancy symptoms started. I am someone who, when I get like early pregnancy symptoms, they're very similar to period symptoms. So I always very much so disregard them. My boobs hurting is not a pregnancy symptom I've ever gotten. And my pregnancy symptoms did still kind of come and go, especially until I was about 8 weeks pregnant. My symptoms came and went a lot in the first couple weeks. And then it was like, as soon as we confirmed the pregnancy, and this happened with Ezra, as soon as we confirmed the pregnancy, like all of pretty much the symptoms just stayed. And so this time I've had food aversions every single day. I've had mild nausea, usually at night, every single day. I've had the fatigue, but it hits at about like 4 p.m. every single night. And so I've had that the entire time. A lot of chicken. Still makes me just, I can't do it. There was one time Sam was like, Moriah, I think you just need to power through and eat this. And I looked at him and I was like, no, because you don't understand. I can't just like mind over matter in this situation. Like that's not how food aversions work. And so he has not been able to eat chicken, because we usually make dinners, you know, for the whole fam, and I can't, like, I can't do it. So that's really been my only one. I had a lot more food aversions with Ezra, but with this baby, it's just been a lot more mild. But still pretty continuous. But I feel really good this pregnancy. And I do have a product that I'm gonna share that I swear is what makes the difference with that. How I'm feeling anxiety level wise, so I actually don't have any. I wish that I could go back and tell myself when I was like about to give birth, and even pregnant with Ezra, like how much I would find myself in motherhood. I didn't know. And for me, I've said this so many times, everyone acted as if, like for pregnancy, people would, you know, compare symptoms and stuff like that. But I would always still hear every pregnancy is different, and everyone's experiences are totally unique. But for the most part, women do tend to lump pregnancy symptoms together. But I would say my entire time, you know, every pregnancy is different, every pregnancy is different. But to me, it seemed like every postpartum experience was exactly the same. And so when I had this 1 in a million postpartum experience with Ezra, where I felt like the moment I gave birth, I just felt like myself again, because I hadn't felt like myself in so long. I truly had a 1 in a million experience where motherhood calmed me, motherhood took away my anxiety, and I felt a different level of confidence that I had never experienced before. Not to say that I don't have these days of, you know, just like regular mom anxiety, but I just didn't feel like what I thought I was going to feel. I truly just found myself in motherhood. It has given me a different kind of patience that I did not have before. And I wish so badly that I could go back and tell myself that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, my worst fear throughout my entire pregnancy with Ezra, and I know that it can get very bad and it can turn out, you know, very different for other people, but my worst fear my entire pregnancy was that Ezra was gonna come out with a cord wrapped around his neck and that something was going to go wrong in labor and delivery. And he did come out with a cord wrapped around his neck twice. And I still got to deliver him with little to no issues. I mean, he did come out a lovely purple color, and that was absolutely terrifying, but as soon as he was born, they unwrapped the cord around his neck. He got an APGAR, I think is how you would say it, score of 8 when he was born. And then, like, I think they do it again 5 minutes later, and he got a 9. So the doctor immediately knew that he was good, and the respiratory team was in there. As soon as he cried, they left. So I had confidence that although my worst fears just happened, everyone that had experiences this on a regular basis, he was fine. And so I'm gonna try and let myself kind of go this time and just not tell myself, like, the whole time I was pregnant with Ezra, I was like, but this could go wrong, and this could go wrong, and this could go wrong. And I'm just not gonna do that this time. This time we're gonna enjoy it because this is it for me. And that's not to say that I won't have anxiety. That's not to say that, you know, when I get towards the end of pregnancy and you feel like you're just not yourself and your body is just not yours. And I felt like so like a mutant. I don't even know. I just did not feel like I was me at all. I felt like I was a shell of a human being that was just growing another person. That's not to say that won't happen this time, but I can say that as far as headspace goes, I feel mentally like I can do this, and I know that I am a damn good mother, so I'm not gonna doubt myself this time. I did wanna share what you guys can expect from me. I've done this once already, and if you are new here, please do not feel like this is going to turn into a motherhood channel. We do have a vlog channel. We're not as consistent on that as I wish we were. It's a goal of mine for 2023, especially now that y'all know that I'm pregnant. But this is gonna continue to be a fashion channel. With Ezra, I only got pregnant in the front. I have not been able to work out as much this time because the evenings are really when I only, you know, I get time to work out, and I'm exhausted and in bed by 8 p.m. every night. But I'm hoping that I'm able to kind of pick that back up and get to a more normal place. Hopefully when I hit my second trimester, I am 11 weeks, and one day when I'm filming this, when you guys are seeing this, I'll be almost 12 weeks. Baby is measuring like 6 days ahead, so he's a pretty big dude in there, which is kind of what Ezra did until he got to the end and slowed down. But yeah, we're gonna continue trucking here. I'm gonna keep sharing fashion hauls. I'm not gonna buy a ton of maternity pieces. I actually kept a bunch of my stuff from Ezra, and I just was only pregnant in my belly, seriously, or my face, until at like 36 weeks, 37 weeks is when like my face kind of swelled up. I didn't get swelling, so I was able to continue to wear normal stuff. So we're gonna keep trucking here. You do not have to worry about this turning into a motherhood channel. And then I did want to share a couple essentials with you guys. First and foremost, look at this. Look at my sweet little boy in there. This is when we went to the 10 week, I was 10 weeks and 2 days, and she measured him 3 times, and he was showing at 11 weeks in 1 day, and I was like, okay. This is like not my doctor. This is like one of those little ultrasound places. And so she actually let us hear his heartbeat first. He was wiggling around in there, and so she did not say anything. What we actually did was we did the sneak peek at home gender reveal. I actually got these ultrasounds done at My Baby's Debut. That's like a place, they have one in Bowling Springs and Greenville if you're in South Carolina. I mean, they have them all over the state, just in like different names. But you can go and get like the blood test done there. And essentially what they do is they just look for the Y chromosome. You can get it done, they say as early as 6 weeks or 8 weeks. I'm an impatient person. Doug just decided to join us. So we got it done early, and we knew that like there was a possibility that the test was not gonna be right. So we had a guess, and then I went and got my blood drawn to do I think it's just like universally called the NIPT. Here in South Carolina, we call it the Maternity 21 test that tests for any trisomies, and then also the gender. And so we went to my baby's debut, and little boy flipped himself over, and she was like, I'd said he a couple times, and she was like, oh, so you did the like, you know, the sneak peek gender reveal. I was like, yeah. And when he flipped over, she didn't say anything. She just kind of sat there, and I looked up at it and I was like, huh, well, I guess that test was right. So he is measuring at 11 weeks and 1 day, and that's a boy. That's boy stuff. And maybe if I would have, you know, had a girl the first time, I would have recognized it, but she didn't say anything. Even though I'd been saying boy, we both just stared at the screen like, yeah, that would be a boy. That would be a boy part. So yeah, we got this sweet little baby in there, and we just feel so excited. I feel like I've been all over the place with this video, but clearly I'm just so happy to tell you guys so I can get back to like normal. Couple things that I've been taking throughout this pregnancy. So I had actually started taking these prior to like literally when I got my period on November 6th. These are the Vitamin Code Raw prenatals. They are a little bit more expensive, but I had heard really good things about these prenatals as far as not helping, you know, like they don't contribute to nausea, which some things can. I really liked the Ritual prenatals. They weren't an overpowering scent, but I know some people can really struggle with that. The reason I wanted to take these is because I've told you guys, my OB has actually told me she's like been done having kids for years, and she says she takes a prenatal every day because she says it's just got like that extra little bit of stuff in it that makes your hair, skin, and nails really pretty. And she says it also works like a multivitamin for women. So the fact that my OB takes it every day and she's done having babies, I was like, you know, I should just go ahead and do this. We're gonna start trying in January. I'll go ahead and get these in my system. So I had been taking these, and then as soon as we found out I was pregnant, again, 3 weeks and 4 days, I bought these. So I took these throughout my pregnancy with Ezra, so I knew that they were pregnancy safe. My doctor had already been okay with these. If I had it to do over again, I would definitely take these while trying. Like obviously we didn't plan this baby, but I was gonna start buying, like I was gonna buy these and take them in January. The biggest thing is probiotics make your stomach hurt. Even if you've been taking regular probiotics. I was taking the Ray, I think, prebiotic and probiotic for months. And when I switched to this, it definitely upset my stomach a little bit just because it, you know, changes things in the balance of your like gut health, I guess. So when I started taking these with my pregnancy with Ezra, I told you guys they greatly improved any of the nausea that I did have. So I started taking these a lot earlier, and sure enough, this time my nausea has been a fraction of what it was with Ezra, which was already pretty low. So I swear these make a difference in your nausea. So just, you know, be prepared. They're gonna upset your stomach just a little bit, but I would recommend taking them while you're trying, just so they're already in your system and good to go. And then last little thing, and I promise I'll stop talking, are these. So this baby is due August 13th. Again, I'm 11 weeks and 1 day when I'm filming this. So you guys the date, it is January 23rd. So this baby is gonna be 3 to 4 months old when it's cold here, and then Ezra was 3 to 4 months old in the peak, like hot months of the year. So the baby, while he will be able to wear like some footies and stuff that Ezra had, we do still not, you know, we don't just want him to only have hand-me-downs, but we are gonna have to get some different clothing because what Ezra had was not weather appropriate for where this baby will be age-wise. So I did get some 0 to 3 month, like regular onesies. Target is one of the best places I found to get affordable clothes. These were, does it have a price? It does not, but I would bet these were like 12 bucks for all of these. I wanted to get some 0 to 3 month just because Ezra actually had some long sleeve and some short sleeve, because for us, especially the month of April, which is when he was born, it's kind of hit or miss. You can, like, I think when we left for the hospital, it was like 40, and 2 days after we got home, it was like 85. So I did get a couple, you know, of those things. Also got this footy pajamas, because look at it, it's got little trucks on it. And I thought this was super cute. Again, we kept a lot of his stuff. And then I did get some newborn footy like pajamas, because I did not listen to people. Everyone was like, your baby will not just immediately go to 0 to 3 months. I feel like that was kind of mixed. People either said your baby will be in 0 to 3 months right out the gate, or your baby will be in newborn for a while. And with Ezra, he was born 8 pounds, 3 ounces, and he was in newborn clothes for a full month. So we didn't have a ton of like newborn footy pajamas. I think we had like 4 or something. So I did want to get a few more. So we are so blessed. We feel so excited. We just, oh, we can't believe we have another little baby, that this one was a surprise, but it feels good. It feels final. I talked way too much in this video, and I don't even think I answered any real questions that you guys have had on Instagram, but thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you are still here, you are a total gem. We love you guys. We're so grateful that y'all have been here since, you know, I started this channel when I was engaged, and now I'm gonna be a mom of 2. Oh my gosh. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to go below, click the subscribe button if you're new here, and follow us over on our vlog channel for actual like mom content. We're gonna be sharing more home content there this year. Definitely gonna keep this a fashion channel, but thank you guys so much for watching. Love you, and I'll see you in our next video. That will be a try-on haul, because now you guys know I'm pregnant, so the fact that I have a belly already is not gonna shock anyone.